Okay, same day, you can see, October 5th. Alright, now the last time I caught this, I just copied and pasted. I don't even know if I recorded it, honestly, people. Because it's just all so obnoxious, okay? So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do this until I figure out where their live stream comes in before they move it to the front. Okay? And I just like to remind people that the government has been dissolved. And they're bringing in mail-in ballots and I don't know what the hell, but anyway, for an election for October 24th, which is like in another 19 days from now. It was a 1-month election. So everybody's doing their, spiels online, right? So that you'll get their vote. Now, I'm not voting, people. I do not vote for lizard people, okay? I don't vote for people that are infected with something that obviously, clearly makes them irrational in terms of sticking out their tongues, posturing, their eyes get all weirded out, just the whole 9 yards, okay? I'm not playing that game, people. And I guess with Satanism, right, being that British Columbia, Canada, is the capital of all of Canada, to have Satanism within their parliament, being that the parliament buildings are in Victoria, British Columbia, Canada, right? I think there's like a big infestation in there. And, if you vote, you allow them to do what they do to you. So I'm stepping down. I'm not voting. I'm not. Okay? I'm not voting, people. I don't, like I said, I'm not voting for individuals who have been infected with something that makes them extremely dangerous. Okay? So, in the meantime, all we've got is this individual here who calls himself a doctor, even though they don't have a single patient out of 5.2 million people, all right, who's running the show because the government has been dissolved. And there's 2 ministers running around in the parliament buildings. The parliament buildings that Uncle John cleaned for 25 years and then got stabbed in the back, right, locked up in some old folks' home, completely disconnected from the children that he helped to raise, right? The family that he was with for over 35 years, lived with them for 23, and then died an old, lonely man with practically no brains as his extended family, so-called loving sisters and brother, robbed him blind. And then he died. Okay? So anyway, those 2 MLAs are running around in the parliament building, holding down the fort, as this individual is in control, okay, of the government, until we have mail-in ballots and however else they're going to decide to do their voting to tell us who it's going to be. And I already said, more than likely, I can't be sure, but it wouldn't matter, because they're all the same. Even the independents, once they get in, if they're not infected, they will be infected, people. Now, I haven't been working on this. I haven't been talking about it because it's depressing, all right? I have a lot of video on my computer that I actually want to get out of here and put it onto an external hard drive. So I think with this introduction, I'm going to get into those videos that I haven't uploaded yet. They'll be backdated. I'm usually pretty good at giving the dates on when these things are recorded. And I'll be focusing on their eyes, as usual, because that's a telltale sign that there's something wrong with them. They're synthetic, they've been cloned, they're robotic, there's something. They're not human, though. The actual humans that these individuals are supposedly supposed to represent, they're gone. Okay? They have been murdered and deleted off the planet of the Earth. That is my opinion. Okay? And it's like that all across throughout the whole political spectrum, because something is invading the human race. That is my opinion. I'm not the only one who feels that way. Okay? So, in the meantime, we know what I'm going to do. We're going to find out where this next live stream is coming in. As you can see, scheduled October 5th, 2020. We've got 137 people waiting for this to occur. Okay, this is what I'm doing. We're going to see where it comes in on the grid of cards here, right? Because we already have documentation of fake pre-recorded live streams that were done days up to a week or more in advance, coming in with false statistics, false death counts, false infection rates, false everything, that when it was written by a ghostwriter, when they did those pre-recorded live streams and then put them on the shelf, they wouldn't have known about. Okay? And there's a reason why they don't let people go in and see their loved ones as they're being locked up and detained under this so-called pandemic, is because they don't want you to witness the situation like what happened with ShaMay. They don't want you taking pictures of the morbid science experiments that they're doing with dead bodies, or even alive bodies for that matter, because these individuals that are being locked up and then die with no witnesses to hold their hand and to verify how they were treated before they died, how they died, when they died, and what happened to them after they died, because the government, a computer image, a hologram, a synthetic individual, a cloned individual, a shapeshifter, something is wrong with these individuals, have said so. So we're in the midst of a complete, dissolution of our government, right? We're just floating. And I guess they're bringing in mail-in ballots, and they're doing their campaigns on the computer. And of course, nobody is paying attention to their eyes. Nobody is paying attention to their sign language when they're flipping out their tongues, blowing up their lower lips, posturing as if they're showing off their balls on their mouth, okay? Blowing their bubbles, right, from their lips, people, because they're infected with something. I'm trying to tell you. I've been documenting it, okay? And, yeah, so we're just going to catch them, and then I'm going to add it. I'm going to go into my computer, and I'm going to pull up the older videos that I haven't uploaded yet, okay? Because it's depressing. It's depressing, people, right? And, of course, we know YouTube is shadow banning me and trying to prevent that truth from getting out there, along with every other truth that I talk about when it comes to the public union sector and their partners in crime, okay? Because it's not just the public union sector. Gang stalking is a big, obviously they're the ones with all the resources and have access to files and, have those black budgets and all this other shit, right? So they can pay off a lot of people to fucking gang stalk you and murder your family members and kidnap your family members and do all kinds of crazy shit, right? Because, they're looking for those bodies, people. And if they're not looking for those bodies, they're looking for ways to prop up their ministries, right? Or their paychecks, one or the other. That's all it boils down to, is money, 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 money. Control, 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 control. And death and death and more death. So that they can prosper and live and survive and multiply. Right? Basically. Okay? So I don't know. This is coming in at 3 o'clock. Sometimes they run early. Sometimes they run late because they're sneaky. They don't want you catching this. So you got to get in early. You got to get your seat early, and you got to be patient, right? Patience is a virtue, right? In order to find out exactly what the fuck your government's doing, because they're all doing it, people. This Doug Ford sitting up in Ontario and his whole crew, they're infected. They're infected with the same shit that these politicians in British Columbia, Canada are infected with. And this Liberty Talk group that's recruiting all these local non-profit organizations and all these freedom fighters, and it's just a hub. It's just a hub to bring everybody under one roof, get them thinking that this Rocco dude from Toronto or wherever, who happens to have the same infection, people, he's infected. He was infected in 2015. Already did my fucking research on the dude. He's got the same fucking symptoms with his eyes, okay? He's going to be filing a lawsuit against the British Columbia, Canada government because of the lockdowns and all this other crap. However, he's filing it on behalf of certain individuals. He's not filing it on behalf of the whole province and every individual in the province. No. He's just going to have a number of names on his lawsuit, Okay? That's what he's going to do, people. Oh, wow. It came in. Okay, so did we miss something? What did we miss? Did I miss something? That one came in exactly, or maybe I missed something, because sometimes it comes in down here. I may have missed it, but we'll give the government the benefit of the doubt at this point, because the last time they did this, they were 3 days behind. 2 days, 3 days behind. Okay? Now, I may have missed it because I was talking and wasn't paying attention, right? You go down 2 grids, it can come in on the 3rd grid, right? It can. I've already got it documented. So, this is what's going to happen. Okay? Now that we're on this subject, I'm going to get into the old videos where I'm looking at this shit, that shit, okay? Because that's the sign language. Posturing, eyes getting all weird. Okay? I'm just going to run them, right, over the next couple of videos. And you can keep your head in the sand if you want. All right? Seriously. Because if you think that these so-called individuals are going to do the right thing, you know, it's like Malcolm X said, you're going to be waiting a long, 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 long time. Because they're not. Because they're not even human anymore. Their bodies have been snatched up and done something with them. I'm not afraid to say it, people. Okay? They all have the same eyes, right? Okay? They all pretty much do, right? I'm noticing Bonnie Henry, a so-called doctor, the doctor of 5.2 million patients, right? She's starting her shit too, right? Adrian Dix, all of a sudden shedded 15 years off his life, right? One day he's on YouTube looking like an old hag. Next day he's on YouTube, takes off his glasses, looking around, acting like he's a 20-year-old. No wrinkles, nothing. You can't see. He looked like a brand new man, people. How does that work? How does that work? Right? As the government dissolves itself, right? And then brings in electronic or mail-in ballots, right? As they do their campaigns online where people aren't paying attention to the signs of this shit. This, of course, though, there's a lot of those individuals out here because that's who their voter base is, people. It's not people like me. They don't care if I don't vote because I'm their fucking dinner. And if it's not me, it's my family. Right? It's a 2-tiered system. It's not not even a 2-tiered system. Get that out of your head. It's a 2-tiered society, people. It's them and humans. Okay? And it's them who feed on the humans. That's why we have so much death in the year 2020. That's why we've had so much death for years and years and years and years and years and years and years as our so-called public union sector employees, aka police and the coroner's office and so on and so on and so on, judges and all, just the whole 9 yards, everybody that gets paid by the fucking so-called government, they don't do anything about the death. Because they're the ones that are capitalizing off of the bodies that are coming in. They've only just ramped it up with this COVID shit. And they've locked you out so that you don't get to witness what they're doing to your loved ones as they're behind closed doors, basically being tortured to death. And then once they're dead, you still don't get to witness to see what they look like after the fact. They didn't want us taking pictures of ShaMay for a reason, people. But there was people who did. Okay? Because what is in the dark will come out into the light. How about that one? Okay, so it popped in. It's running. But they're not on. what would happen if we turned it off. What do you think? What do you think's going to happen? We'll just wait and see. Yeah, because it's not live, people. It's not a live stream. I got 2 of them up. We'll close one. We'll refresh it. I told you.
I'm grateful to be able to speak.
The webmasters are in behind the scenes, just like what they did with my shit today, right? Just like what they did with my shit. They come in and they tweak the code, remember? Remember the HTML code? The source code? Right? How do you think that shit on my comment page just up and disappeared? Because a human being came in and took out something, that's why. But they put it back. Look, do you see? It's not live. Even though it came in right away, it's still not, this is not a legitimate live stream, people.
To you from these
legitimate live streams don't do that.
So today I'm bringing our total on the weekend to 358 people who've been diagnosed with COVID-19, including 8 of which were epidemiologically linked. So our total in British Columbia now is 9,739. That includes...
This is the big boss of British Columbia, Canada.
Vancouver Coastal
right here.
Region.
The big boss lady.
4,180 people in
she has,
Fraser Health.
She has, what is it called?
220 people in Vancouver
5.2 million patients.
548 people who live...
Apparently the cops are saying they have no control of anything because it's this person, individual, who's running the show.
Generally reside outside of Canada.
Okay?
We now have 1,353 active cases in British Columbia, of whom 66 are hospitalized, 16 of whom are in critical care ICU.
Okay? That's all you have to look at.
3,010 people under active public health monitoring.
What's she been sucking on?
115 people.
Sucking on something, feeding well, right?
Tragically, this weekend we saw an additional 4 people who died from COVID-19, bringing that total to 2.
Can we believe that?
People. These are 3 people in the Fraser Health region.
Can we honestly believe that? Where's the witnesses to witness that, people? Who witnessed it?
Compounded by the fact that we still cannot mourn in our ways.
Oh, of course not.
And our condolences.
No witnesses.
To the families and to the care teams and communities who have lost people in the last week. We also have 3 new healthcare outbreaks in the province.
Anyway, I don't want to get into it, okay? I mean, clearly there's something wrong with that woman's lip. Look at it. Okay? Okay? We'll just leave it off for a second. All right? Because it's going to go off. It's going to turn itself off. There. You see? It turned itself off. I didn't touch shit. Right? Because it's fake. All right? Sure. They tweaked it. They had it jump in through the front. Or maybe it was on the 3rd grid. Who knows? All I know is this isn't real. Okay? I'm going to put on slow speed here for a second. All right?
A recurrence in...
So I'll put this first, and then I'm going to come in with the other stuff that I have. Okay? And then maybe you can start connecting the dots. Okay? And then take the time to go look at your own damn politicians in your local area. Right? And grow some balls in all the right places, not in the wrong fucking spot. Okay? And don't vote. No, start a registry. Start a registry. State down why you're not voting. Right? Call them out for what they are, people. Right? This deceit and deceivery, the whole 9 yards, deception. Right? It needs to stop. It won't stop until people stand up and make it stop. And the first thing you gotta do is start calling them out. Don't believe the hype. Look at this. Does that even look normal? If you watch long enough, you see her stick out her tongue eventually. Right? Bottom lip really puckers up, gets big. Like I said, it's like growing balls. It's like posturing. And fluffing their fucking feathers. Right? And they're not doing it for us humans. Trust me. It's a two-tiered fucking society that we live in. Alright? And if you vote for them, then you allow them to continue abusing you. Right? Abusing your children. Abusing your parents. Abusing your brothers and sisters. Abusing your uncles and your aunts and your friends. Right? You allow them to kidnap your family members so that they can lock them up under lock and key and torture them until they die and then tell you you don't have a right to see what the hell they look like. Right? Because they're contaminated. Like that dirt with Ciera. Don't touch the dirt. It's contaminated. No, it's not contaminated. You'll contaminate it. Yeah. Well, what the hell did you guys do with Ciera's body? That's what I'd like to know. And you're so fucking concerned about it being contaminated when it was in a fucking coffin. How the hell can you contaminate a dead body that's in a coffin? And sit up there and say, oh no, you can't throw dirt on the coffin because you'll contaminate the dirt. You can't carry the coffin because you'll contaminate the coffin. What were they so concerned about? More like her body wasn't in the coffin, people. Okay? Yeah. I bet you if we dug it up, brought it up, we wouldn't find a body in there. Yeah. Just a bunch of straw. That's what we'd find. I don't think ShaMay's body is in the urn either. I really don't. No, because they're trying to bring in their transhumanism and all this other shit. So they use every scrap that they can find. Right? And if they can't find it, they make it happen. AKA fentanyl. Right? Almost 200 deaths per month. Every month since January. Directly related to fentanyl. But then that's nothing new. Because in 2017, over 1,500 people died from fentanyl. Right? 2018, almost 1,500 people died of fentanyl. Oh, okay, it slowed down a little bit in 2019, but they weren't satisfied with that, so they had to bring in the fucking pandemic. And now we're going to be into 2,400 people by the end of the year, people. What do you think's happening to all those dead bodies with no witnesses? Huh? Right? You got 2,400 people dying of fucking fentanyl. You don't see no lockdown around that now, do you? You don't see nobody going to jail for that now, do you? No. Nobody's going to fucking jail. Nobody. Not one soul. Right? There is no lockdown for that. Hell no. Just a bunch of excuses. With a bunch of dirty fucking crooks running around capitalizing off those deaths. Right? I mean, this isn't even real. It's off. Look how much it's off. Haven't even caught up yet to it. She was doing all that reading and now all of a sudden she's putting on her glasses? How the hell does that make sense? And how did her eyes get so dark?
in the Squamish, the Tsleil-Waututh First Nations, and we're honored to be here tomorrow, Friday, at 3 o'clock. We'll be providing a written briefing with case counts and other relevant information to the COVID-19 pandemic in British Columbia. And with that, it's my honor to introduce Dr. Bonnie Henry.
Okay, people, like I said, I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but I'm going to spend some time on this. So I just was listening, caught something, and I want you to watch and listen and hear exactly when he decides to stick out his tongue, what he says. Okay, but it's on slow speed.
Best interests of the public and the customers. This investment in the ferry system ensures commuters get to work, children get to school, visitors get to coastal communities, and goods get to market.
Okay. Goods. Hold on.
Of the city restart funding for all British Columbians. Increase
Paying attention to that, right? Can you see that, people?
to see with the COVID lobby, the lawyer for a challenge.